Hello everyone, today I'm talking about dystopian trilogies for my book talk. When we're talking about dystopia, we're actually talking about a community or society where all the ideas are radically different or very different from our own. It can be something with war, or usually a big brother or a big government tries to step in, changes everything for the better in their view, but actually ends up doing the reverse. They try to create a utopia, but they actually create a dystopia. Plans often backfire and the society collapses after that, so people have to suffer through different things. Some famous examples are Fahrenheit 451, the Terminator movie franchise, and The Giver by Lois Lowry. And a lot of people like dystopian because it provides an alternate society that could really easily be ours if one little thing changed. For some examples of books, we have Divergent. It's a series by Veronica Roth. The cover here is the first picture book, not a picture book, but the first novel in the series. In it, it takes place in Chicago after a giant war, and the main character, Beatrice Pryor, is in a faction called Abomination. And in this world, in Divergent, there's 5 different factions or clans. Abomination are the selfless, meaning that they really don't want to do anything for themselves. Amity are the peaceful people. Candor are all the brutally honest people. Dauntless are the brave people, and erudite are the very intelligent. And everything is really to the extreme. So people who are erudite are very, very intelligent, but they don't care about anything else. People who are dauntless are so brave that they will jump off buildings. So the 5 factions try to rule everything by having a balance in society. But if you don't fit into one of the different factions, you're called divergent, and it's taboo. It's very bad because everyone has to fit nicely into these different factions in this dystopian society. The teens, when you're 16, you get to decide if you want to try for a different faction other than the one you were born in. And Beatrice goes through that ceremony and decides to try Dauntless out. When she took an aptitude test, it told her that she could be Dauntless, but she could be Abomination. So she is divergent. So this book goes along her path on how she tries to deal with being divergent in a society where it's very taboo and she has to keep her secret. This is the first book in a series of 3, which is our trilogy theme. The second book is CINDER by MARISSA. CINDER is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, and MARISSA Meyer, the author, has created a dystopian society where everything's very futuristic. CINDER takes place in New Beijing mainly, and New Beijing is what it sounds like. It's New Beijing with lots and lots of technology. It's a melting pot of different kinds of people. It is Cinderella inspired, if you didn't get that from the cover over there. Cinder is basically Cinderella. She has a stepmother and stepsisters, and her father is not in the picture. It's very science fiction influenced. Cinder is actually a cyborg. She has mechanical components to her because of something that happened mysteriously as a child. The adventure begins when she meets a prince, actually, the Prince of New Beijing, in an elevator. She doesn't realize that he's the prince, and she has actually been working on his robot assistant without even knowing it. So it goes on to have a kind of a little romance, but in between all that, there starts to be a plague, and there also starts to be tension between royalty of Earth and the royalty of the moon, the Lunars.
A girl, living with a secret, bound by duty, working to taste freedom. A prince, searching for answers, unprepared to rule his kingdom, or fall in love. A beauty, reigning with an iron fist, willing to do anything to rule Earth. Cinder, the epic first novel in the Lunar Chronicles.
The next book is What's Left of Me by ZHANG. It's also a trilogy. It's the Hybrid Chronicles. Number 1 here talks about the 2 souls in one body. It's kind of introducing that idea of this world. Eva and Addie are 2 souls in one body. In ZHANG's world that she's created, everyone is born with 2 different people inside their own brain, basically. And it's a secret if you are a person after, age 12 or so, to still have 2 souls. What's supposed to happen is that one of your souls, the submissive soul, is supposed to settle and fade into the background. And in our case, for this book, Addie is the dominant soul who is actually in control of the body on most days. But Eva is still there, way in the background, but she really has never settled, and really has never gone away. So this story talks about going against their society where it's so taboo for what they are. It's also telling the story of how Eva eventually starts to get in the picture more. She starts to get control. They meet some friends that have something to do with them also. And really it's about the beginning of their journey into a world that considers them a threat. The last trilogy book that I'll talk about is one that you probably know, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. And if you don't know about The Hunger Games, down on the bottom left there, that's Katniss Everdeen. She's the main character. In Hunger Games, the world is called Panem, and in Panem there was a horrible war many years ago. And because of the destruction and what the capital city, which this is a picture in the middle there, the capital city demands that 2 tributes, 2 young tributes, 1 male, 1 female from every district out of 12, send those people, those children, to fight to the death in a survival game that's televised, and it's a really big deal every year. This year in particular, Katniss is shocked to learn that her sister Rue, who is very young, is chosen by a really random chance, and instead of her sister, Katniss volunteers herself as tribute. She's a skilled archer, she's a good survivalist, she has a pretty good chance, but still only 1 person has ever won from her district, and that's not very good odds. So this is the story in the beginning of her journey into a world plagued by war, and also how she copes with having to kill people in order to stay alive for herself. Can she keep her promise? I don't know. Alright, that's about all I have. If you have enjoyed this survey or this book talk, or even if you haven't, please fill out the survey by scanning the QR code on your handout. Thank you.